All right, we are live. There's going to be a delay here, so I see a couple of you already in the chat. Welcome, 23 people. Wow, I'm flattered. Up 25. Look at that. Mike asks, can you get quality videos filmed with your cell phone as a YouTuber? Absolutely. Cell phones are great nowadays. I do a lot of shooting on my phone. However, we are shooting this on the camera that we usually shoot on. Which is a Lumix GH5S. It's really, really great camera because it shoots in 4K and it'll go all the way up to 60p, which is 60 frames a second, which is what you see all that really cool slow-mo that Mark does. Comes out really good. Mark, are we good here? Because it's not coming up on my phone. And it's flashing on this thing. Got 57 viewers. Sorry, guys. Bear with us. Oh, here we go. I think it's going live now. I've got my whiskey cocktail here, which is amazing. I was going to do beer, but hey, it's Friday, baby. So I have a safe ride home, and let's have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Is anybody getting me? Ooh, what's the best way to mill a log? I got an answer for that in a second. Let me just make sure that we are getting signal here. Do you guys hear me? Ah, Kyle, when are you going to let me win at poker? Kyle, you got a game, baby. Let's go down to Players Casino next week and have some poker. All right, let's see if we're getting video here. It's not frozen. It's just a picture. Oh, Mark, we got to switch the camera, right? Do we have to switch? It says it's not frozen. It's just a picture. So you guys hearing me? Do we have to switch over to the video stream? Sorry, guys. Bear with me here. I see a ton of questions. This is amazing. 90 people. I've never done a live stream this big. Enable DVR. There's the plane if you hear that. Oh, switch to video capture device.
Yeah. And then bump up the audio a little bit.
Okay. You guys hearing me? Sound good. Hear you fine. We just can't see you. Okay. Are you guys getting me now? Low. Okay, we think we fixed the video. It was doing video. See, this is just blinking back and forth. Gosh darn it. Scene 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get this here now. No, we're on the camera. Oh, man. Volume much better. Okay, we fixed that. Now we're going for the video here. All right. So, let's see. Sorry, guys. We're working on it here. This is... Oh, there we go. I see video now. All right. You guys should be getting video now. Do you see me? Yeah, okay, we're good now, Mark, because I see it's catching up here with the audio. Okay, let's get into it, guys. This is awesome, and it's great to get all your comments here. And, all right, are we good now, Mark? We should be. Okay, you guys got me now? Okay. Let's see. Are we good? Video's up. Video okay. Moving. Sound good. Video good. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do it. All right. So I saw a question about milling lumber. I have an exciting news, which is December 1st, we're going to be getting the space next door as well. So we're adding 1,800 square feet. Sean's going to move. Sean's like almost my next door neighbor. He's about 4 offices over. He's going to move next door. We've got a bandsaw mill coming that's 30 feet long and 36 inches wide. So we're going to start milling some lumber and doing some videos on that. We've got a bunch of slabs. All the slabs that are on my website are up in Los Olivos, which is about 45 minutes away from me. They're all going to be here in the shop, which means I'm going to have access to them, and we're going to do a lot of cool slab type stuff. I think that's going to be really good. What's your favorite hand tool? So if you asked a question a couple minutes ago, kick them back in the chat here. Give me a little bump because we were trying to deal with little technical difficulties. We have our whiskey drink here, little Basil Hayden's on the rocks, delicious, and this was the only cup I had in the shop, and it's keeping my drink cool, so I'm pretty happy about that. Let me know what you guys are drinking on, and let me know your questions. Best workaround substitute for a domino is going to be a biscuit joiner, about $150. You pick one up on Craigslist for $20, $30. Great substitute for a domino. Biscuit joiners work great, not quite as strong, but in my experience, unless you're doing end grain to end grain, you should get a pretty good glue joint because that biscuit's going to get into the long grain and make that a lot easier. My favorite hand tool's got to be the Katz-Moses dovetail jig, right? Aside from that, it's going to be my Lee Nielsen number 62 low angle block plane. That's not as good for highly figured wood, but man, that thing is just the best all around plane. I just got a really cool Wood River block plane that has a cool release for the blade, for the iron, which is really cool. I like that a lot. And then, of course, my favorite block plane is the Lee Nielsen rabbiting block plane. What are you using on your audio? Sound is solid. Happy Friday. We're using the Blue Snowball, which is a great microphone. That's what we do all our voiceover with. Really works. Camera is the Lumix GH5S, which shoots 4K all the way up to 60p. It's an amazing camera. It's what Mark shoots me on all the time, and it just really is great. The only thing that's not great about it is the autofocus, but we don't use a lot of autofocus. So hello from Australia. What up, Doug? What up, Michael? What up, Harley, Brad, Neil? When you use your cutting board goo, do you treat the board with straight mineral oils first? No, I don't. I go straight to that thing. And you can reapply it as many times as you want. Works great. You always just buff that wax, and it's a great finish. What would be some nice wood species if you were on a budget? Cherry. Cherry, if you're looking for hardwoods, is here about $4.50 a square foot. I'm sorry, a board foot if you mill it yourself, so if you get rough lumber. Or you can get F4S lumber, which is more expensive because they give you 4 straight sides. Hey, Burke. What up from NYC? Adam, I think I answered the camera question here. You're on a little bit of a delay, but are tongues necessary on breadboards? Why not just one long tongue? I think it just, when you have a whole tongue, there's a lot more expansion and contraction. Wood is going to expand about 1/8 of an inch per 24, 36 inches, if I believe, depending on your humidity level. So when you cut those tongues, and granted, they're not going to be seen, so they can be ugly as hell, like, who cares? You can limit the expansion and contraction and pressure against the breadboard end. Hello from Brazil. What up, fama? Can you do a video on setting up a brand new plane? I have done a video on setting up a brand new plane, but we're going to do some hand plane stuff now soon. We're in the middle of a router series, which is really cool. I got a video coming out on Sunday about router basics and buying advice. It's kind of like the video I released 1.5 years ago, but it's updated, and it really focuses on the 2 most important things, which is spinning direction and how to cut safely. I think on my last video, I got a ton of questions that led me to believe that a lot of people are a little bit more scared of routers than I thought. So I wanted to really dive deep into the basics and make sure you guys are comfortable with that before we move on. We're building a router table, which is going to be amazing. It's got all the bells and whistles, bits and bits paid for it, which is awesome. It means I could really kind of show you all the possible things you can do. Hello from New Orleans. Adam, Butch, what's up going on, guys? Impious Bill, great name. What's your favorite finish for a workbench? So you got 2 options on a workbench. You got a film finish, which is going to, it's going to chip over time. It's going to take a lot of abuse, and depending on what you use, if it's really hard, you're going to break that up over time. Now we're talking a long time. So with a bench, I tend to go with stuff like that I can easily reapply and touch up, like shellac. Even just like the Katz-Moses goo would be really good because you can keep applying it, and you're going to be beating on it anyways. So, you know, you can do like a lacquer finish or a polyurethane finish. That would take a lot more abuse. But I don't know that it matters because you're going to be beating on it anyways. I'm sitting here on top of my Moxon vise that I've had for a couple years, and I think I put shellac on it, and it looks great. I mean, I reapply it every once in a while, and it is really good. Oh, man, Super Chat. That's my first Super Chat ever. Thanks for all the great woodworking wisdom you share, brother. Have a blessed day. Got to go back to work. Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate that. Greetings from Germany. What is going on? I only know one thing in German, and it's dirty. I used to live next to a German guy, and it has Schwanz in it, so I won't tell you the whole thing. Greg, do you think Festool Domino is worth the money? It depends on what you're doing woodworking for. If it's your hobby and you just like doing stuff, then it depends on what you like. But if you're a production woodworker, I think it's the only necessary tool. Because if you're trying to make money doing this, you want to do it as fast as possible. And, you know, my boy Sean Boyd, he uses that thing for most of his joinery, and man, he cranks out beautiful furniture. Him and Chris Salamoni, they've been working together a lot lately, and the Domino is definitely worth it if you are trying to make money. If you're trying to do this for your hobby and have a good time, and that takes away from your enjoyment, like you like doing joinery, then don't get it. There's lots of other ways to do it, but it certainly helps if, you know, you're doing boring stuff that doesn't really excite you, like a, you know, big mitered plywood case for something, you know, like some shop furniture. You know, why not do it quickly? But, you know, if you go to like somebody like Mike Farrington, he uses a biscuit joiner for almost everything. I don't even think he has a Domino, and he's got every tool there is. And Mike, he uses that Lamello biscuit joiner, which is $1,200, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do too many more things than like a $150 Makita one. So you can get by with a lot of stuff. Do you have Italian roots, Skyline? That's, I think, the only thing I don't. My dad's Jewish and my mom is Western European. So my dad, you know, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Russian family, and then my mom was the other side of Europe, which was French, English area. Oh, Joseph, second super chat. Atta baby. Thanks, Joseph. You win second prize, although yours was more than Matt, so maybe. And Matt left; he went back to work, so you know, screw Matt. Schwanz. Hello from Nebraska. That's where my dad's from, Omaha. I don't know if you watched the radio build, but we talked about my bubby who was from Omaha, who got that radio as her wedding present. So, O'Doyle Rules, great movie. If you wanted to learn one, would it be SketchUp, Rhino, or Fusion? Fusion, all day. Guys, learn Fusion. SketchUp is like Play School compared to Fusion, and you can have the Play School version of Fusion. You don't have to get that deep into Fusion, but when you do, you know, 5 years from now, 2 years from now, you get a CNC, you're going to be real happy you know Fusion because it's just in the same program. Click one drop-down menu, you go from designing to manufacturing. Absolutely incredible. Fusion, and if you are a hobbyist or an educator, you don't have to pay for it. It's free license. So get into Fusion. Take those Skillshare classes. I think the Connect 4 build was sponsored by Skillshare, so there's a coupon code for 2 free months, and that, of course, helps me when you sign up because then they want to work with me in the future, and that's always good for the channel. So let's see what else we got. Hello from Leeds. What up, Adam? One of my best friends in the whole world is from right outside of Glasgow. And I know that's not super close to Leeds, or maybe it is. I'm not super up on my English, Scottish geography. But I see woodworkers creating 4x4s out of milled 2x4s on YouTube. Why do they do that instead of just buying 4x4s? Maybe that was what they had access to at the time. But a lot of times 4x4s are really wet. I mean, stuff from Home Depot sucks. And especially 4x4s, I mean, they're milling lumber and sending it out to Home Depot. And those 4x4s are so thick that they're just super wet. So it's, you know, usually I'll just buy like 10 2x4s and leave them sitting outside my shop for a few months, just before I need them. If I'm at Home Depot, they're so cheap, and that way when I actually do go to use them, if I have to, which is rarely, I'll have some dry 2x4s because that's hard to do. Jonathan Katz-Moses, did you design your logo? Which one? The Katz-Moses one or the actual regular Katz-Moses logo? Steve Gronsky, can you tell me how your stop block works on front-mounted T-Track? Yeah, let me grab a stop block. I know you've asked this question before. I think I've answered you in email. Maybe I didn't. Hey, Mark, will you grab me a stop block, bud? They're in that box on the shipping station there, workbench. What time is it there? It is 2:16, 5:15 in NYC, baby. Cheers, guys. We got 171 people. Guys, grab a beer. Let's have a happy hour. Come on. Why is my name hyphenated? Great question. So, my parents are still married, and my mom kept her last name. Her mom worked with Susan B. Anthony for women's suffrage, and it was really important to her mother that her sisters kind of carried on that strong female role in their families. And so my mom and all her sisters kept their last names, so all of my cousins on my mom's side have hyphenated last names as well. So, Katz-Moses, dad is Katz, mom is Moses, and they live in Boulder, Colorado. So, Michael, do you own any Bad Axe saws? No, I don't. 22:16 in the UK. Oh, it's late, Bear Paw. Yeah, that's right. Greenwich Mean Time, I believe, is 8 hours ahead of California, or 9 hours. JCam, I just got 2 of your stop blocks, and they are absolutely awesome. I've tried to make it deflect, haven't managed to yet. Nope, that's why it's called the no deflection stop block. Excuse me. Whew. Basil Hayden's, baby. Do you have a video about making a beginner affordable workbench? If not, can you consider making one? Jay Bates has the winning video on that. I don't think I could ever top that. He built a full kind of Rubo style bench for $100 with dimensional lumber, which is pretty awesome. Burke, bottle of Basil Hayden's. Got it, baby. You saw the Basil Hayden's in my radio video. I'm not kidding. I love that stuff. That and Lagavulin, those are my 2 favorites. You owned a bar? No, I worked in bars. I managed bars for about 8 years in Santa Barbara. That's how I got my start in business. Was I worked at nights and then I ran my companies during the day. It allowed me to pay the bills while growing stuff, and that's kind of how it works as an entrepreneur. You got to put a little hustle in the beginning. Work 80-hour weeks, and then one day you get to where you're just woodworking for a living, which is awesome. Okay, so having a Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest, do you take on interns? No woodworking classes anywhere near me. Rich, I'd love to take on interns, and I have a few people who do work here who I pay. They're not interns, and a couple of them are woodworkers, so they get to come in every now and then and hang out, and we do some things. But we work so hard here. I mean, I work 60 hours a week, and I get in at 7. We do shipping and manufacturing, and then Mark gets here at 10, and we start shooting, and then Mark leaves at, in between 3 and 6, and then, I finish. I answer emails and talk to sponsors and do all that stuff. So I'd love to have an intern. I wish I had time to teach more, because that's my favorite part about all this, is doing this with you guys. So, okay, question about front-mounted stop block. So there's a couple ways to use it. One is you would flip these around and run them in your T-Track like that. And then you could run it on a thing. You could take off the front face so that it was just the silver part. Or you could have it sitting up a little bit higher, and you could adjust it with the thumb screw, which would be kind of tough. I know that I want to do a version 2 where I do it on the opposite side, which may be on the next production run. So we're working on that. It's going to be best, I think, if you just take the front face off, and then you're going to have an ultra solid piece there, which then you lose the micro adjust feature, but it works pretty good. And honestly, it's 100 times better than anything else out there. Hello from Canada. What up, Daniel? R. Wild. Have you seen Laguna F3 saw? I haven't. Favorite Japanese saw? Oh my gosh, the folding Dozuki from Suizan. In fact, guys, this is something that I haven't announced yet. In fact, I just made the payment this morning. I have 200 Suizan saws coming to the shop, which means you'll be able to get Suizan in Europe, because I know they don't have a distributor there, and I ship worldwide. And I'll also be offering them a little cheaper than they are on Amazon, because you guys are awesome. We'll be able to put together some dovetail packages. I've got this one coming, this one, the flush trim saw, and the small Dozuki saw. So those are going to be on my website in about a week and maybe 2 weeks, and you'll be able to order those. I may put them up for pre-sale just so if people want to reserve them, they can. But that should be really cool. Bob, Jonathan, semicolon, that a baby, Bob. Crazy guy who spells his name backwards. Would you recommend edge joining 10-foot boards with the number 7? Sure. I can't. Edge joining 10-foot boards is hard no matter how you're doing it. I one time edge jointed a 12-foot slab, 2 12-foot slabs, so that we could join them together for a table. God, I just got sawdust in my eye. And we had to have 4 people here, and it was like, I'm surprised that nobody got crushed or lost a finger. I mean, that was really hard. So careful when you're doing that. Suggestions for finishing walnut and maple. Gosh, it just matters on what you're doing. If it's shop furniture, use some Katz-Moses goo. If it's heavy use furniture, use some lacquer. If it's just display woodworking, like some box or urn or something like that, I would use some sort of shellac or really nice penetrating oil with some hardening wax in it. I do have that video of my 4 favorite finishes. So finishing more depends on the application than the type of wood. Hello from Quebec. What up, Charles? We got 185 people here. That's incredible. What fun. I bought one of your wooden magnetic dovetail guys. I love it. Oh, that's awesome, Bob. Czech Republic. I'm not going to be able to say your name, but I appreciate you being here, bud. Steve, good. Glad I could finally answer you there. Planning on coming back to Michigan anytime soon. Oh, you know it. One of my best friends' brother and sister own a bunch of bars and clubs in Lansing. So he's out there right now, but we may go back out soon. Do you ship to Australia? I ship worldwide. I ship to every country. In fact, this is cool. The Katz-Moses dovetail jig, I believe, is in 158 different countries. I can download a CSV sheet and load it into Google Maps and see where they've all been shipped, and it's just about everywhere. I think I'm missing Antarctica, so if you have any way to get one to Antarctica, that's a box I'd love to check off. Burke. Awesome, Burke. Thank you. Oh, look at that. Another super chat. Thank you, Gustavo. Venezuelan woodworking in Phoenix, Arizona. Keep up the great videos, bro. I got your dovetail jig recently. I'm excited to start using it. Ah, that's awesome, Gustavo. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your generosity. Do pre-sale, bro. People are planning Christmas presents. Good point, CD, and they're probably going to go quick. I ordered 200, and it takes like 2 to 3 weeks to get here from Japan. The Suizan guys are awesome. They're going to be here in November 22nd. Oh, that'd be so cool. We can shoot the video for the release of the saws with him. Do I have a favorite dovetail ratio? Daniel, 8-to-1, definitely. What are your favorite finishes to spray? Lacquer, shellac. Shellac you can actually spray, which it comes out awesome, and you don't have to worry about weird buildup when you're rubbing it around. Polyurethane works. I don't really like polyurethane. What's your 5th favorite finish? Bert's mustache wax. I want to try dovetails. Which jig should I get? The 8-to-1. 8-to-1 is a little bit of a steeper angle, and I think it really hides mistakes easier. And when you're cutting kind of down grain, the saw has a tendency to want to follow the grain, so the steeper that angle, the little bit easier it is. I don't know that there's much of a difference as far as ease goes, but I would always recommend the 8-to-1. Sorry for talking so fast. 1, drinking some Basil Hayden's. 2, trying to get to all you guys' questions. I really appreciate you guys being here. It's so awesome of you. Are you going to make a deflection for bottom-mounted T-track? I mean, couldn't you just flip it over? You could do it like this. That would be awesome. I mean, it sits perfectly like that. Tell me why you can't. I'd love to know, because I'd love to make more of these, because they are really popular. People are happy with them. They're doing their job, and really just blows everything else on the market out of the water. Oh, Mike, that's right. We hung out in that bar. That was awesome, man. We had a good time. At Tony. Oh, yeah, thanks, Berg. No wood in Antarctica. Yeah, but hey, man, there's some research outposts there that maybe need some dovetails or stop blocking. Or what about a Katz-Moses shirt? People wear shirts in Antarctica, right? Do you make your Christmas presents? Come on, Adam. We all make our Christmas presents. Of course I do. I buy some. I make some. One of my favorite things to do is when I buy things for people is make gift boxes for them, which kind of become part of the present. And, you know, that's always fun to do. Maybe I'll do a video on that. We'll talk about how to make gift boxes. Love you. Yeah, lots of collaborations in the pipeline. Obviously, Sean and Chris. We've been talking to... I'm drawing a blank right now. But, yeah, we've got some good collaborations coming up. This is a MA18 is what it says on it. Wood is Good company. These are great because they're non-marring and you can whack the crap out of things. One thing I'm working on with a company right now is coming up with a list of a curated grouping of hand tools that will be available on that company's website, kind of with my name on it. All tools that I've tested and I think are great for hand tool work, and there'll be kind of different levels of tools, kind of beginner or low budget to kind of high budget, and we're working on doing that. We should roll that out soon too. What up, Ferry from the Netherlands? What is your personal favorite joint? Oh my gosh. My favorite one I've ever done, the hardest, was this one. I got so much shit for this. Pardon my language, but I mean, God, the comments, half of them are just people going, "That's not a dovetail." But I think it's got to be the houndstooth dovetails. Those are just so beautiful. That was a ridiculously cool video. I really enjoyed that. I tried your Katz-Moses goo. Great stuff. Giving hats away to fellow woodworkers in Hawaii. Awesome, buddy. Uncle Sam. Damn, you must be old. 1776, right? See you and Wood Whisper on a Oh, Mark's a good friend of mine. Mark and I have actually been talking. Mark and I, we see each other at conventions a lot, and we've become friends over the last couple of years, and we've been talking about doing something together. Yeah, everybody here makes their Christmas presents. Let's see. No, that wouldn't work. My miter station is just like make something. Why wouldn't that work though? I don't get it. If you can tighten it to T-track, if it has T-track, it's going to work. I don't understand that. Explain it to me. Draw me a picture. Just got my stop block in the mail 2 minutes ago. That's awesome, bud. Speaking of Sean Boyd, I never saw his reaction to the Nick Caging. I think he was mildly annoyed and also thought it was very funny. Some of them are still up in his shop. So some of it I felt bad. Like I didn't know if he would find some of them, so I had to spoil some of them because I was worried that he would, be using a tool and something would show up that he wasn't expecting and it'd scare the shit out of him and he'd hurt himself. So, could you send them a Mountain Leader Royal Marine as they go to Oh, there you go, Ian. Set it up, please. Oh, Tahiti, man. We got people from everywhere. What? That's so cool. This YouTube thing blows me away every day. Just know that I never take this for granted. It's always impressive to me, and it's always humbling to see so many people show up to support the channel, because that's just really cool. Awesome, fantastic Mr. Fox. What's up, buddy? Do you think it's worth restoring old hand planes, and is it going to take a lot of effort for someone without the right tools? Absolutely, Brian. If you want to just get the woodworking, you buy one. There's different levels, but there's really good ones for, let's say you get a used number 6 on eBay for $30, and you put a couple days worth of work into getting it nice and resharpening it, and maybe it doesn't work the way you want it to, or it's really hard to get steel flat again with just like a sharpening stone. I mean, like really hard. So it's up to you. I mean, if you want to just woodwork, buy one. if you enjoy the process of restoring something and turning it into something you're going to use, then do that. But it's really just up to what you feel you're going to get enjoyment from. One of my biggest philosophies in all of this is never do anything that doesn't make you happy. Like, it's silly to waste time doing stuff that turns you off. So do the things that get you to where you want to be, and buy the things that are going to help you do that kind of enjoyment. So thank you so much. I don't know why I said thank you. I'm trying to read chat and talk at the same time. Is there a Katz-Moses Facebook group? No, but I do want to start a subreddit. Facebook to me is I mean, we're not going to get into politics here, but I'd much rather be sharing stuff on Reddit and supporting that community rather than Facebook. And I think people are starting to steer away from Facebook anyways, and Reddit is so easy to do different types of sharing and that kind of thing. What up, Regine, Kishna? Thank you so much. R Wild, Stouter Porter. I'm more of a pale ale guy. I love 805s, which are local. I can do some light IPAs, but the really heavy IPAs that you can like chew, just not for me. Steve, what's going on? Thank you. Thumbs up from Poland. That's where my family was from, on my bubby's side. They were all from Poland. In fact, some of them didn't make it out before 1939, and so we lost a lot of them. But I've got a lot of Pole in me. Wow, that's super dirty. I realized that. Do you listen to music in the shop? If so, what tracks? So that's kind of one of the bummers about shooting videos. You can't listen to music because you would have to pause it and play and pause and play between different parts where I'm talking. So I do when I'm by myself doing stuff that where we're not shooting. But yeah, we don't listen to music too much anymore. Is there a hand tool version? Why do you upload so early some mornings? I feel that's why I can usually catch you with gabs like, oh, we upload early in the morning because when you look at some of this is based on analytics. When you look at the graph of when people are using YouTube, there's a huge correlation in, most of my audience is in the U.S., about 60% of it. And there's a huge correlation between before work, lunchtime, after work, nighttime. And so we try and upload really early in the morning because then you get all the people going to work, East Coast, all the way across the country. So if I upload at, 5 a.m., it's 8 a.m. in New York. So you're getting people who start work at 8:30. They may be on the subway, things like that. And that sort of, just like the sun sort of moves its way across the United States. So that's what we try to do. We don't always make it. DC. My brother lives in Washington, D.C. That's the same question. Have you ever used the Axminster Rider planes? I have not. I want to restore my grandpa's plane. I did a great video restoring a client of mine when I used to own my Christmas light installation company that I just sold about a year ago. He heard I was a woodworker, and he gave me his father's plane. This gentleman was probably 90 years old. So this was this, 115-year-old plane. And I restored it. I tried to give it back to him, but he wouldn't take it. He's like, no, you'd enjoy it much more than I am. Any kick-ass giveaways coming up? Oh, yeah, baby. We're going to do the IG Holiday Dovetail Challenge coming up. I'm trying to figure out what the prize should be. I'm going to probably finance. I'll probably sponsor the main prize myself, so I'll buy it. So I'm trying to figure out what that's going to be, and then I'll let some sponsors get involved in kind of the secondary prizes, like big, regular people, supporters of the channel, like Bits and Total Boat. So I don't know. I was thinking maybe $1,000 budget for the first prize. So I don't know if you guys have any suggestions. I'd love to hear what prizes you're thinking. But I was thinking maybe like a cabinet table saw, or maybe we'll even do a saw stop. I don't know. That might be aggressive. What's the best advice you can offer for those of us trying to grow our channels? I just crossed 1,800 subs. Absolutely love this platform. Enjoy sharing my passion, and thank you for the inspiration. Biggest advice I can give you is don't do it for the money. Just keep plugging. Just if you're fake and you're not doing what you love, if you're doing it for views, if you're doing it for subscribers, it's so transparent. Like, people who are trying to emulate, Johnny Brook from Crafted Workshop by saying, thinking copying somebody else is going to get them the subs and the followers. It's just going to be transparent. And if you do it the way that you want to do it and share your journey honestly and with integrity, you will grow. And Burke, your channel is great. I know you're kind of learning and woodworking, but you're a fabulous teacher and you've got a great presence on camera, and I think you're going to do great. But it took me 2 years to get to 1,000 subs. It took me another year and a half to get to 10,000 subs, and then it took me 6 months from there to get 9 months from there to get to 100,000. And so growth is exponential. Casey Neistat famously said the hardest milestone to reach on YouTube is 1,000 subs. The second hardest is 10,000. Third hardest is 100,000, and onwards and upwards. And it's true. It is so hard to gain a foothold and to gain a voice. But once you get to 1,000 subs, you're well on your way. So, just keep plugging, man. Don't put a timeline on it. Don't compare yourself to others. Just enjoy yourself and do it for the love of woodworking and teaching, and you'll do great. And one day, if you don't do it for the money, one day the money will come. Someone asked something about my hair. I get that a lot. I think I saw John, pomade or hair paste? I use the Crew styling paste, and I just put it in when I'm damp and kind of comb it and then take my fingers. It takes about 10 seconds. I do my hair very quick, but ends up looking like this. The one good thing is I'm probably not going to go bald anytime soon, so I got that going for me, if nothing else. Do you and Sean Boyd still work with each other? Have you all parted ways? No, Sean's my next door neighbor. We love each other in a very non-platonic way. We're actually a couple. But he's been working with Chris Salamone a lot lately, and I don't know where that's going to lead. But we were never partners, and he's his own entity, and I'm my own entity. But, man, having him around is great. I really love having Sean here, and it's been one of the loneliest things to do in this industry is be a YouTuber, because none of your peers live anywhere near you. And so it's hard to find people to share experiences with and ask for advice. And having Sean here is just phenomenal, because I can just walk next door and go, hey, what do you think about this thumbnail? Or, hey, I'm stuck on how to build this. What type of joinery would you do for this? And it's great having him here. And he's such a good furniture designer. My God, that guy can build furniture. And so that's been great, because he's really affected how I do things, and we work together on a lot of stuff. So being you're a contractor, have you ever considered coping moldings with a fret saw? I've seen people do it a lot, but in the field, it's using hand tools is not always very efficient. Do you do commission jobs? I do not. I absolutely do not. I refuse them. I always very quickly and nicely say, sorry, I don't take commissions. My focus is on teaching and providing content to you guys and the products that we sell. All of those things are I love, and commissions just get in the way of doing that efficiently. It's just dealing with customers, and their wants and needs are tough when it takes, for me personally, it takes away the fun of woodworking. I don't want to do what other people want me to do. I want to do what I want to do, and I want to share what I want to share. And when you start doing commissions, it gets in the way. And so I'm very lucky to have built this to being in that place. But for a long time, I did do commissions, and that's how I supported the channel. Was I would basically do commissions to buy tools and camera equipment, and eventually it got to where we didn't have to, which is awesome. Oh my gosh, this is amazing, guys. Thank you for being here. It really means a lot. 173 people. That's amazing. Do you make your lathe handles? No, I need to buy a lathe. I've been considering it soon. We actually are in the market for a giant laser. I'm looking at a 5x10 260 watt laser right now for the other side of the business that you guys don't normally see. which is the templates and things like that. We're starting to do a ton of templates, and so it's kind of scary, but that's why we're getting the place next door. We're going to bring in a 4x8 CNC and a 5x10 laser and start ramping up that side of the business, because the feedback on templates is that it's just awesome. I mean, it makes projects so much simpler for you guys. You can get a lot more stuff done, and it's way better than like buying full-size plans and trying to print them out and tape them together and then, sanding down to the line. This way you can just get the template in the mail and get to work, and that's amazing. Gift card for lumber. If you come to DC, I owe you a beer. Deal. The dead rabbit. Buy things that make you happy. Prostitution is illegal. Hey, John, can we buy the Dovetail Guide in the UK? Anything I sell, you can buy anywhere in the world. I don't limit where I ship stuff. So that cost me a little bit in profit, but I'd so much rather share everything I can with everybody and not keep anybody out of being able to buy things. What is the best way to measure and mark consistently as a beginner? Well, I have a couple videos about one's like my favorite tip for accuracy in woodworking. I have a video called superior accuracy in woodworking, and like somebody else said, don't measure. That's kind of true, because once you have the dimension of something, everything else should sort of, sorry, the planes that come over here. Once you have the dimension of one thing, everything else should sort of work its way out. And so, if you need to fit a piece in another piece, you kind of do an inside measurement and then take that thing that you measured over to the table saw or whatever. But a marking knife is key, and watch those videos. I dive deep into it, and I show you how I mean, there's one video where the thumbnail is me with a pair of calipers and it says 2.00000, and I show you how I got exactly a 2-inch cut first try with a marking knife, and that stuff works great. You could always build a lathe. I wish I had time. How much time do you spend on project versus work just for videos? I'm getting texts. Mark is my cinematographer and editor. He is so good at what he does. But I'd say it's 50-50. I mean, you can imagine that the editing portion of a video takes at least 1 hour per minute of video, at least. And Mark is a perfectionist. He does a phenomenal job. And I'll get emails from him at 4 a.m. with finished videos and thumbnails. And so he works really hard on that stuff. And then you can imagine the shooting that we do is hours and hours a week. And so it's a ton of work to get videos out. But we work really hard. Mark is amazing. And, I help obviously plan the video. But when it comes to editing and stuff, Mark knocks that out of the park. And I couldn't do what I do without him. I mean, the fact that we get 2 videos out a week usually is it's almost impossible without somebody like Mark on your team. And so, $5 super chat, Christopher, thank you. Currently on the shop flattening a slab of maple with a box plane and a belt sander. Thanks for making this job a little less futile. Everybody send some love to Christopher, because that sounds like the worst freaking job on the planet. DIY router lift. I'm shouting as you keep missing me. Sorry, buddy. It's hard. This is going fast. Jay Bates. My boy Jay Bates, who's a really close friend of mine. We talk all the time. He has not only plans, but videos on how to make it. His stuff is so good. Jay actually has a degree in CAD, so his plans are like next level. So are Sean Boyd's. Sean Boyd's are like chapters in a book. It even has pictures of him doing the things. Sean's a brilliant plan maker, and so is Jay. But he has a DIY router lift that you can go check out. That's amazing. What's been your worst injury in the shop? I cut off the tip of this finger with my pocket knife. I went like this to dig a knot out of a piece of wood for no reason. It was just sitting on my bench, and I was bored, and I was talking on the phone, and it caused the knife to flex, which made the safety release, and I just sharpened it. and it shut on my hand and literally cut the tip off my finger. It was just hanging by a little piece of skin, and there was a little trail of panic, is what I called it, because it was stained to my floor. It was there for a long time. But you see, I run outside, and then I run back to the bathroom, and then I run to where it happened, where there was shop towels, this trail of panic, and then I went to the hospital, which was, I don't know, a couple blocks away, luckily. And man, that was so painful. Cutting through the bone, it's no amount of Vicodin fixes that pain. That is just pure pain. I couldn't sleep the next couple nights. That was brutal. What two woods best suited chessboard? Maple and walnut. That's easy. About to bid on an online auction this weekend for closing wood shop. Should I have any concerns buying lumber from a shop like that since I haven't been there in person? No, I mean, why would they have bad lumber? I mean, they wanted to use it at one point. I'm sure it's great because it's dry, which is incredible. You're in Kiev? Oh, that's awesome. It's so crazy to me how far away people are. It just is so cool. 166 people still here. This is amazing. I want to use my hand planes more. What's the best way to edge join a board? Mine always end up angled. I just released a video called 5 Ways to Join a Board. I talk about hand planes in there. So go watch that. Love the channel. Thanks, Matt. I really appreciate it. Jeff, do you plan on continuing the tune-up series? You know what? Nobody watched that. I wish. It was fun for me, but in my head, I felt like I was doing such a service. And just people watched the first one, and then half those people watched the second, and by the end, it was like getting 2,000 views. I mean, those are my least watched videos on my whole channel, and I wish, because I felt like those were valuable, but apparently nobody cares. What type of sander should I get? Get a random orbital first, and if you need a belt sanders for removing a lot of material at once, but a random orbital should be all you need. Do you have a video that breaks down the components of a hand plane and how to maintain them? Yeah, I did a few hand plane videos in a row about, I don't know, 5-6 months ago, maybe. Which other YouTube creators have you met, Adam? I mean, all of them. The thing is, we all end up at conferences together a lot of times because we, some of us get brought in by companies to sit in the booth and that kind of thing. So those are always really, really fun because we get to hang out together and you name it, I've probably met them if they're in the woodworking genre. What is the next joint of the week? Okay, so I'm thinking of this crazy locking double miter that's wedged. It's in my head. I had a dream about it. And I can't even really explain it, but they go through the same hole. But they stick out opposite sides of a board. And one has like a cut through it so the other one can fit, and then they lock into each other and they're at the same level. And then a wedge goes in there because the hole has to be bigger than it for them to be able to lock at some point. But they kind of like interlock and lock each other in with a wedge. I've been drawing it. I haven't quite figured it out. Do you ever check out newbie woodworkers like myself? If so, it'd be cool to check out my channel. Yeah, all the time. Send me a link. I am not unapproachable, and I am certainly very accessible. I try and answer everyone. So if you got a video you want me to watch, send it my way. I'd be happy to watch it and give you any sort of praise or constructive criticism, depending on what you want. If you don't want to hear anything, I can just tell you it's the best I've ever seen. You just let me know. What? Love the tune-up series. Yeah, nobody watched that. Auction video, awesome. Bull, Craig, what are we saying Bull about? Mike and I cared, apparently. I watched. Well, you guys are like probably my most frequent watchers because you guys are here on the live stream drinking whiskey and beer with me. So I have a bunch of 3-foot wide holly logs, thinking of using it for a bench top. Does holly make a good bench top? I've never worked with holly. I watched your tune-up series. Have considered more teardowns. LARP Busters, what a good name. And Mike James from Deutschland. Welcome, my friend. The next joint of the week is a hardwood water bong coated in epoxy. Weed's legal in California. I've been thinking about doing a Canador instead of a humidor, one for cannabis. I've been checking those out online. I think that would be a really cool build. Yo, John, I love South Florida. Do you have to worry about seasonal changes that much? In Santa Barbara, no. Seasonal changes in humidity are pretty minor here, but I do get them. Like those nightstands you guys saw me build, I built those in the hottest time of the summer. and we're just kind of starting to get some cooler days here, and the drawers started sticking a little bit. I left room for expansion, but you want to remember, in typical swings in humidity, unless you're in places like Florida or Arizona, it's going to be about an 1/8 inch over 3 feet. So you can sort of plan accordingly. If your board's only this big, it's going to move 0.0001, which is why when you see breadboard ends on a 3-foot wide table, it's going to move 1/8 to a 1/4 inch depending on where you lived, and that's why those things are there. Mike, thank you. Tater's Workshop, shout out. Sell a cam shooting board, please. Some things are so, I don't want to, they're easy to make with the right tools, obviously, but they're also too big and heavy to ship. There's some really weird restrictions on lengths and widths combined and heights, and the shooting board just wouldn't work. If you can brainstorm with me how to make a kit that maybe didn't include the actual board, the flat part, like maybe it had the fence and the locking part of it, then maybe that could work. The tuna videos. Adam, show idea. Mementos for your mama. Invite a non-woodworker and teach them to build something. That's pretty funny. To buy a domino or not to buy a domino. I answered that earlier in the live stream, but basically it works to, are you doing production or do you just enjoy cutting mortise and tenons as a hobby? Because if you're trying to pump out furniture, get a domino. If you're not, don't. I do a lot of segmented bowls. Do you sell cutoffs? Oh my God. Honestly, I've got a shit ton, a lot, pardon my language. I got a lot of cutoffs I could probably part with in here. Probably a lot. In fact, when I moved, both times I moved shops, I gave away all my cutoffs. So, because you were so accessible, you're one of the top. Oh, thank you so much, Bane. I really appreciate that. Have you ever made any furniture using willow branches? No, but I had a massive willow tree in my yard as a kid. Let's see. If you like whiskey, next time you're in Denver, visit a place called Strahan's. They have the best whiskey made from old moonshine recipe. Awesome. I've been to Colorado a lot. My brother and his wife and their kid live in Boulder, and so do my parents. And it's only a $50 flight one way from Santa Barbara on Thursdays and Tuesdays. So I get out there all the time. That's an easy flight for me. I love going there. What do you think about cedar slabs for a kitchen countertop? That sounds like way too soft for me for a counter. Unless you like epoxied it or put some like the Total Boat tabletop epoxy might work. You could pour it really thick, but man, cedar's so soft. I don't know. No whiskey and beer here, only tea. All right, I'll accept it. So what do you want to know about puppies? I've got my shop dog sitting in the shop over here, Sandy. She's a 12-year-old golden retriever. She's been my best friend since she was 7 weeks old. What do you say you enjoy, hand tools or power tools the most? I enjoy accuracy. I love getting things perfect, almost to a fault. I use calipers all the time. In fact, I have my calipers sitting here, and I probably measure more than I should, and I like to get things to fit perfect. So I don't know that power tools or hand tools mean more to me. Although there's nothing like having a quiet shop and nobody here and cutting some dovetails. I haven't been able to do that in a long time. We shoot most everything I make, and we're on such a schedule here that sometimes I lose sight of just the hobby side of woodworking. But it's I don't know that I have a favorite. I just like to get stuff perfect, and I like to have my earplugs in. Whether I have tools on or not, it's nice to just have pure quiet. Mark, I got a problem, bud. My battery's dying. Can you bring the charger? It's in the leather case, which here it is. What's your favorite wood to work with? Probably walnut. I kind of fangirled when you liked my post on Instagram and replied to my comment. I try to respond to everybody. I really do. And if I don't, I'm sorry. Some dude released an 18-minute long rant video. I'm not going to plug his channel about how I didn't respond to his question one time. And that pissed me off. Because I try so hard to respond, and I really do. And if I don't, hit me up again, because I'm not trying to ignore you. I get a lot of comments, and it gets busy. So thanks for saying height. Bothers me so much when internet people use the ultra fake and non-executive word height. I have a confession, which is I've done it before, and people made comments, and I realized I was wrong. So I corrected. use the cutoffs to raise money. Absolutely. Super accessible. Thank you so much. Big quality difference between the high-end diamond sharpening stones you are using and cheaper diamond stones from China. I think all that matters is whether they're flat. I don't know that there's a difference, but hey, if it removes metal, I'm actually going to release a video soon with the company I was talking about that we're going to release a set of dovetail tools. The guy who owns the company is a really smart guy, and he's really good at putting products together for hand tool woodworkers. He's a woodworker himself. He's come up with a kind of a sharpening system that already exists, which is the Scary Sharp system, where you use sandpaper and glass. But he's come out with a way to make it really cheap. And so we're going to do a review of that soon and be able to play with that. But I think as far as diamond stones go, just check to make sure they're flat. As soon as you get them, don't use them. And if they're not, send them back and get different ones. But and it may just be that was a bad batch, because that same company may have flat ones. You never know. Come over to Ireland. You should be leaving this. Man, I'd love to go to Ireland. I've never been there. Views on woodworking, a good job in woodworking as a hobby, or doing what you love as a job. Woodworking itself, not going to lie, is a grind. But if you love it, then you will do great at it. Sean Boyd made a fabulous living before he got popular on YouTube. Mike Farrington as well. But both of them say that their life is easier now that they're a content creator. So, if I was going to do it as a job, I would keep it as my hobby, meaning, a side hustle that allowed me to make extra income doing what I love, and only taking projects that really, did it for me. Not just taking BS that, something that doesn't bring you enjoyment, and that's different for everybody. So, keep it as a side hustle until you really can live comfortably doing it, or that's what you're happy doing solely, and go from there. But, it's scary jumping into a market that relies heavily on people with disposable income, because custom stuff is not something you can sell to everybody, unless there's some great people, like I think his name is Archer Woodworking on Instagram. He makes a living doing just cutting boards, and there's ways to get it done. Just with any side hustle, any hobby, as soon as you make it a job, it's going to become a job. So remember that. And there are days where I wish I could turn the cameras off and just do some woodworking, but I'll never complain, because I'm so fortunate to get to do what I get to do, and it's just absolutely wonderful. Were you a general contractor or contractor for a specific trade? We were a general, as well as we did all forms of carpentry, so framing, finished carpentry, doors, windows, and then we also did concrete in-house. So carpentry and concrete we did in-house. At our peak, I had about 50, 60 employees, running $250,000 payrolls every 2 weeks and doing huge developments. And that sucked, man. That was really hard. And the thing about construction is you have to work more to make more, and it's a hard business. And it's the problem that we found is when you start doing huge developments, really, really, really wealthy developers are shady as all heck, and they have these ways of screwing over little guys by back charging, and we got on our biggest project we ever did was this $28 million multi-use development, and we did all the carpentry on it, and the developer just at the end didn't pay anybody, and it was like 10% of the project. She was underwater on it, and what she did was, she was a billionaire, and she just said, I'm not going to pay anybody, and you can sue me, and then I'll settle. And so she just settled with everybody for pennies on the dollar, because nobody had the money to fight a lawsuit against her, because she could last forever, and she didn't care. And it was just, it sucked, and it just broke my heart. I worked so hard on that company, and we just kept, the bigger we got, the more lawsuits we'd get into, and it was never our fault. It was always just people not paying us and running out of money, and that's hard. It's a grind. It's a grind. And, there's a lot of people in that industry. And so, there's always a new guy coming up with low overhead. And so it's a grind. I'm happy I'm not doing it. I really am, because it just sucked my soul. And I loved it when I first started it. And then when I left, I really didn't like it. Are you going to do a collaboration with Jay Bates? Jay and I talk every day. We work together regularly. And he's a very close friend of mine, and we both have new babies, and so we're pretty busy, so it's hard to get we're across the country from each other, But we are collaborating behind the scenes, let's just say. Let's see, did I miss one? Old jet table saw, new DeWalt router. I'm looking for a jointer. Any other tools you would recommend for somebody starting out that wants to build furniture? Jointer is great. It's not mandatory. As you've seen me release some videos, 5 ways to joint a board without a jointer. But it sure is helpful. And I recommend buying at least an 8-inch if you can, save for it. And then also what is great is a high-quality bandsaw. Yeah, you can get it done with a table saw, a router, a jointer, and a bandsaw and a planer. Those are 5 tools I'd recommend you working towards above anything else because they really are the most useful. Let's see. Come to Ireland. I've been to Ireland. I spent some time in Dublin, and I was in Kinsale in Cork County. That was beautiful. And it was sunny the whole time I was there. It was like April. And I was like, man, weather's beautiful in Ireland. I'd said that a couple times, and the Irish people were like, this is the first time it's been sunny in 8 months. All right, let's see. Where are we at? The nesting chair video was awesome. Are you guys planning doing more furniture type builds? Nothing standard or boring, but yeah, Jay and I, like I said, Jay and I work together all the time. I'm not going to keep saying that. And he's awesome. To me, Jay was always who I looked up to when I was coming up in this game, as they say. And he just has more integrity than anybody. I mean, we work together a lot on sponsorships and stuff like that. And he just won't do anything that doesn't fit within his model and what he's willing to promote. He just flat out says no. And I've seen him turn down big contracts just because he's not about that life. Are you gonna make any more baby kids furniture? Yeah, of course. I gotta shoot. She'll be 6 months in 11 days, and I got another whole rest of my life making stuff for her. Miter lock bit thoughts. I've never used one, but we just finished shooting a video on router kind of basic techniques and buying advice that'll be out Sunday. Sorry, the planes. And that'll be out Sunday, and I talk a lot about kind of different types of router bits and what to buy and that kind of thing. 164 people here. Gosh, you guys are sure making it easy to keep doing this. Did you ever get a reply from Chris Ramsey? No, but I keep trying. I've sent him emails. I respond to his stuff. My dream, if I could pick any project I wanted to do right now, it'd be a puzzle box. I've had it in my head for so long, and it's just, I've got this big jumble of ideas, and I want so badly to do it. And I need to do it. I want to get a combo mill lathe for metal, because I want to do some brass things in there that are just so cool. I mean, that's like my dream project right now. I can't wait. I haven't seen you use a card scraper. What's your opinion on them? Oh, Adam, I use card scraper all the time. I will go watch my card sharpening video. It's one of my more popular videos, and it's good. People seem to really like that one. Hello from Belgium. Thanks for telling us about Sweezan saws. Found a local guy who sells them. If any of you are new here in the live stream, I'm going to have Sweezan saws on my website in about 2 weeks. We'll be shipping them straight from here worldwide. Can I send photographs of my work for any criticism? Yes, if you send them to Instagram. Emails are really tough because I have to be on my computer, and I don't get a lot of just straight email responding time. But if you send them to my Instagram, I'm always happy to take a look, and I try and respond as often as possible. I really do. I believe he released. Did Sean Boyd ever say anything about getting Nicolas Cage? I answered that earlier, but yeah, he thought it was pretty funny. I think Sean's such a nice guy that sometimes my antics are. He appeases me. He placates me, I guess. It's getting cold here. Have you worked when it's too cold for glue? No, I haven't. I live in Southern California, so we luckily don't ever get too cold for glue. Looking to upgrade my table saw to a saw step. Most professional cows. Oh God. No, there's no reason to buy anything other than a saw stop. I hate that. Sorry. I dislike that question because table saw, the table saws are the highest rate of accidents in the shop. 1 out of 40,000 people, not just woodworkers, 1 out of 40,000 total people are affected by a table saw injury. So don't screw around. Spend a little bit, spend the $800 extra, save for it, whatever, get the sauce stop. There is no other option. Don't be unsafe. Let's see. Hey, Jonathan, love the radio build. Loved hearing that it came from your bubby. Would love to see a collaboration with you, Chris Salamone, Four Eyes, and Sean Boyd. Of course, Sean Boyd is my next door neighbor, so that will 100% happen. Dude, don't get a combo mill lathe. Get separate tools. Trust me. Hey, I believe you, man. I always preach that. Buy once, cry once. So, space heater in the shop. Hi there. From Bama. Roll Tide? Is that what you're supposed to say? Roll Tide? I dated a girl from Alabama once. Or she was from Floribama. What's the best finish for a live edge coffee table? Go watch my 4 favorite finishes video. It's you're going to want something like maybe lacquer, probably. Woodworking fastener. Should I go to the patent process thoughts? I have an idea that I'm working on a woodworking fastener. Should I go down the patent process thoughts? This is a good question. Certainly, here's what, you can share it with people. No one's going to probably steal your idea unless it's somebody who has the capabilities that you do to manufacture it. But get to where you're ready for production before you go through the patent process. Then file what's called a preliminary patent. It gives you a year to protect your idea, but you got to be ready to go. Don't waste time when you're not ready, because then your clock starts ticking. Then that gives you a year to see if it's worthy of a patent, if it's worth it, and to see if you're going to get, someone's going to sue you, that kind of thing. And if it is, then just go through with the patent process. But if it's a dud and nobody wants it, then why spend the extra, $4,000 to $10,000 trying to get a patent? File a preliminary patent. It costs $50 if you do it yourself, $250 if you go through LegalZoom. It gives you a year of protection. So, great question. John, I haven't seen a bunch of your work today, but enjoying the content. We'll be going through your back catalog. Awesome. Thanks, Bear Paw. Roll Tide. There you go, Doug. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to say it wrong if I got it. Your buy once, cry once mantra made me spend 1,000 AUD on a Lee Nielsen planes and honing guide this week. I stopped crying now, and I'm very happy. I told you, Sebastian, you're going to be real happy. John Hayes lives in a cold climate. Let's see. Roll Tide. I canceled a camping trip this week because I didn't look at the schedule. LSU sucks. One of my buddies is LSU. He's from Baton Rouge. Let's see here. Last try before I go watch the Tar Heels beat up some Seahawks. Miter, lock, bits, thought. I answered you, Luther. Said I don't know. I've never used them. But I'm releasing a router video this weekend that talks about the basics of router. A lot of things on router bits. So, you only really need shop around 65 degrees at the coldest, and the glue will still do its job. Pouring on safety first. All right. Man, this has been such a blast. Still 154 of you here. That really just blows my mind. Guys, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I got to run. But your support means the world to me. It truly, I couldn't do this without you guys. And it humbles me every day to turn on my computer and have even one person want to watch me. So thank you so much for your support. If you want to support the channel, best way is to head over to the Katz-Moses store and get a stop block, a dovetail jig, or a t-shirt. And thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay safe in the shop. We'll talk to you soon.